In North India, Kartikeya is not really worshipped much. There is where most of our ancestors came from. Okay? Now, in South India, it is a big festival. Actually, in some of the states in South India, especially states of Tamil Nadu and so on, it is a public holiday today. Alright? And even outside of India, like Sri Lanka, Indonesia, and other Far Eastern countries, there are big celebrations dedicated to Kartikeya today, all over the world. Alright? From the US, Canada, throughout Europe, wherever there are Kartikeya mandirs, today will be a special day for them. In all of North India, there is only one Kartikeya mandir. In South India, there are hundreds, right? Up to recently, the biggest Kartikeya murti and the biggest Kartikeya mandir was in Indonesia, alright? In Batu Caves. It's a world famous heritage site, UN declared heritage site. Alright? It is only the Navratri that went, the Chaitra Navratri went, the biggest Kartikeya murti and the newest Kartikeya mandir is in South India, Tamil Nadu. Okay? So, Kartikeya, like I was telling you all the other day, is an important figure, especially for the times that we live in. Okay? Now each deity, any form of God you pray to, you can get your desires fulfilled through that form. But I keep telling you, in Sanatan Dharma, God is a specialist. And when he wants to perform his very special function, he takes that particular form. So, when it was time to come deal with things like defense and safety and security and protection and so on, to destroy unrighteousness, that same form, that infinite God took the form of Kartikeya, and he came for that. That is why in Bhagavad Gita, when Lord Krishna was describing to Arjuna his various forms, his opulence, Bhagavan Krishna declares, among the generals, among the commanders, no need to be Kartikeya. Alright? So Bhagavan Krishna himself identified his military abilities, the military abilities of Kartikeya. Now how did Kartikeya came into existence? Kartikeya didn't have a normal birth like how most of the deities would have had. Alright? Though he was born through Shiva and Parvati, he was not raised by them for a period of time. The demon by the name of Tarakasur, after Sati had burned herself and Shiva was grieving for her, he decided to disconnect himself completely from the world. As a result of that, many divine years, thousands of divine years passed, and Shiva locked himself away in meditation, not caring about anything to do with this world anymore. This role is picked up by Murugan and Vishnu. They were maintaining the creation. And so, because Shiva is not there, some of the demons started to rain terror upon him. Amongst those was a demon by the name of Tarakasur. He became the lord of the demons. And so, he performed devotion to Lord Brahma, and he requested of Lord Brahma the boon to become immortal. When Lord Brahma told him that he cannot get the boon of immortality, he started to think, and he said, well, how can I try to springboard? How can I achieve this boon of immortality? And so he thinks and he thinks and he thinks and he says, let a son of Shiva be my destroyer. And then, at that point in time, remember Shiva is a bachelor, right? Or a widower, as I should say, because he was already married, but his wife died. Okay? So, he knew that Shiva is no longer interested in this worldly life, family life and so on. so he asked for that room, which he thought would have been impossible. Shiva can't have a son if he never have a wife. Right? So he's saying, let a son of Shiva be my destroyer. And so Lord Brahma says, well, so be it. And secured in that boon now, he started to conquer the earth, he conquered the heavens, and so on. And it went on for a long, long period of time when Tarakasur reigned terror upon the earth. And so it came a point in time where it became unbearable, and the devatas, Brahma, Vishnu, they know the only way they could get Shiva back up out of that type of meditation, that samadhi that he is in, is with the help of the Divine Mother. And so they approach the Divine Mother, and she, while in the heavens, the devatas was praying to her to take birth upon the face of the earth. Himavant, he too was performing devotion to the Divine Mother for a daughter to be born into his home. And so she appeared to Himavant and said, I will come as your daughter. And so that is how Parvati took birth. Brahma and Vishnu knows that unless the Divine Mother doesn't reappear in a physical form, Shiva will not come out of meditation. But Shiva was so engrossed in meditation that not even the birth of the Divine Mother in the form of Parvati broke his meditation. And so Parvati now is Shaila Putri Mata, Shaila Putri meaning the daughter of the mountains. She came the daughter of Himavan, in the house of Himavan. And so just like when a baby is born, you will go to your Pundit and you will get the information for your 6 days and 12 days rituals and so on, and you'll get Rasi names and so on, the horoscope of the baby will be cast. So to Himavan, sticking to the tradition, he did all of that. So he approached Narad Muni to cast the horoscope of the baby, and so Narad is telling Himavan, this is no other than the Divine Mother. She's destined to marry Lord Shiva. And so when she's a little girl, she decides to renounce the pleasures of palace life and start to perform devotion to win over Lord Shiva. And so she became Brahmacharini Mata, meaning the one who observed intense austerity. Okay? So while she was doing that in meditation now, Lord Shiva himself was away in meditation. And so the devatas, you know when something bad happens, you find time and praying at all? So they find it taking too long. It's taking too long for Shiva and Shakti to get married. So they want to speed up the process a little bit. And this part of the Katha is teaching us that when you become impatient, instead of solving a problem, you create a bigger problem. Right? So what the devatas do? They conspire and they send Kamdev. Who is Kamdev? The god of love. He's the one that creates attraction between man and woman, between male and female. Alright? Not only the human beings, but among the animal species. Once it's male and female, he creates that form of attraction between them. Okay? So they put up Kamdev and his wife Rati to try to get Shiva to come out of his meditation. And you all know this katha already. When Kamdev aimed his arrows at Lord Shiva, what happened? Shiva opened his third eye and Kamdev was burned. So the impatience caused somebody to lose his life. Right? So that is what I tell you, sometimes when you become impatient, you make a situation more bad than it was originally. Okay? So that didn't work. And so Lord Vishnu advised, don't tell Indra Dev and others, don't interfere in this situation. Everything will happen in the goodness of time. Because he's aware that Parvati was already performing tapasya. And at some point in time, she's going to be successful in that tapasya. So many, many divine years passed, and it came a point in time where she increased her devotion to the extent to which Shiva couldn't remain silent anymore. He appeared before her and asked to request a boon. And she said, "Oh Lord, you know who I am, you know why I'm doing all of this. I wish to be reunited with you." And so Lord, should I give you blessings? Alright? And so after Shiva and Shakti were married, after a period of time, the devatas again complained to both Shiva and Parvati this time that Tarkasur is still reigning terror, and the boon that was given only a son of Shiva can destroy him. Okay? Now this is many, many years after Shiva and Parvati got married. And a lot had happened in this cult, a lot had happened before. Okay? So after Shiva and Parvati got married, very often Shiva would leave Parvati here in Kailash and he would go about his business and so on. So during that period of time, Parvati created Bhagwan Ganesh. Alright? But what was the boon? The boon was a son of Shiva. Did Shiva have an input in the creation of Ganesh? No, that is why most of the time you will hear about Gauri, Ganesh, right? Gauri is who? Parvati Mata and Ganesh, you know that, right? So Ganesh is more identified with being the son of Parvati rather than the son of Shiva. Now in the Vedic scriptures, even the Ganapati Deva Shiksham, it says that he is Shiva Sutta, meaning the son of Shiva, right? If Parvati is the mother, then naturally Shiva would be the father. But Shiva had no biological input into the creation of Ganesh. So Ganesh couldn't attack Tarkasur and destroy him, because the boon specifically said a son of Shiva alone will be his destroyer. Now in other cult, in this cult that we are in, which is a Shweta Varaha cult, the elder brother. But in previous cults, Kartikeya was the elder brother at some point in time. So every time the cycle of creation starts back, in one cult Ganesh will be the elder brother, and another cult Kartikeya will be the elder brother. Right? But in this cult, the Varaha cult, Ganesh is the elder brother, Kartikeya is the younger. Okay? So after many, many years, the devatas again complain, and so Shiva and Parvati decide, okay, it's time to bring an end to Tarkasur, so they decide to have a son. But Shiva knows that once this son is born, Tarkasur will send his soldiers to try to kill him. Right? So what happened? While being conceived, Shiva transferred the energy of Kartikeya to the Kritikas. They are the wives of the Saptarishis. Alright? And so these the wives of the Saptarishis, which is the Kritikas, they are collectively known as Kritika, but they are in the astrology, there is the Nakshatra, the Kritika Nakshatra. Alright? And they took Kartikeya and they brought him up in their loka, in that loka, the Kritika Nakshatra loka. So he was hidden from all of creation. Nobody knew except Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva that Kartikeya had born. But at that point in time, it was not one person, it was 7 individual babies. When the time reached, the Kritikas brought Kartikeya to Kailash. And as Parvati saw them, she hugged the 7 babies, and the 7 babies became one baby with 6 heads. Right? So this is how we have Kartikeya being with 6 heads and 1 body. But he was still an infant at that time. So Parvati, when Shiva is away, she would stay with him all the time, like a mother nurturing him. That is why she gets the name Skandamata now. Alright? Yes, where she keeps nurturing him. And so she did that for a period of time until he was around 7 to 8 years old. So it came a point in time where Shiva decided it is time to start training Kartikeya to fulfill his role. But he did not tell Parvati anything. You know Parvati is always guarding over Kartikeya and he is always taking care of him. And there she has Ganesh also looking out for him. Alright, he being the elder brother. She would not let Kartikeya, when they're playing, she would not let him out of her sight. So Shiva, he calls Nandi and he makes a plan with Nandi. Now at this point in time, Parvati was babying him. Alright? But Shiva wants to bring out a certain quality in him to suit the work and function that he has to do. So in other words, Shiva didn't want his son to grow up softly then. He wanted to grow up like a real tough masculine person. As you look at Lord Shiva, you can't say Shiva is a soft person. Shiva is a rough, rugged person. So he wanted Kartikeya to be like that. So what did he instruct Nandi to do? Take the form of a tiger and attack him on Mount Kailash. And as Parvati seen this wild tiger coming, she takes the form of Durga Mata. And Shiva appears there at the same time and instructs her, don't interfere. Right? And so she understands what Shiva was trying to do. And as the tiger is coming now, Kartikeya charges forward and he starts to fight with the tiger. And Lord Shiva is looking on and he's coaching him, telling him how to run, how to throw it, how to wrestle with the tiger. And so when Devi see what was going on, she calmed herself, knowing that Shiva is now imparting the lesson of warfare to Kartikeya. But she also realized that there was a flaw in the plan. So what did she do? From her own energy, she created the veil, the shield, the spear that he has in his hand. And she gave it to him. And she told him, this will be the tool by which you will be protecting Dharma with. Alright? Having pinned Nandi down on the ground, and as he was about to pierce him, Shiva stopped. And Nandi took his original form. Seeing that it was Nandi there, he himself now realized what Shiva was doing. And so what Lord Shiva did, he brought out the warrior quality in him, which is what he was born to do. So all of this, Kartikeya is still about 7 to 8 years old. And he is now, Lord Shiva is telling now that now you are equipped, both with weapon in hand, to challenge Tarkasur and fulfill the purpose of your birth. And so he did. He challenged Tarkasur and he vanquished him. Having killed Tarkasur, the Devatas, they gathered in council and they are talking about his warrior skills. Because of the tactics Lord Shiva taught him, the art of warfare, and how he applied himself on Mount Kailash, he used those same lessons when he was battling Tarkasur. Indradev made a request to Lord Shiva that Kartikeya be the head of the army. And so Lord Shiva was only too pleased and said this is the purpose of his birth. He would be foremost among the generals. There will be none like him again. And so he was given the name Subramanya. And so other names were given to him too. The name Kartikeya meaning he was brought up by the Kritikas. That is where that name came from. Sammukha means you have 6 heads. Alright? So Kartikeya, he became the head of the army of the Devatas. And so whenever the Indra has to go out to battle with the divine army, Kartikeya is there as the commander of that army. He's the one to devise the war plan and the strategies and so on when the Devatas has to go out and battle. Okay? So having defeated Tarkasur, he was made the head of the divine army. And so, afterwards now, both Shiva and Parvati decide that it's time for him to start formal schooling. So like a responsible parent, they chose Lord Brahma to be the guru of Kartikeya. And so he went to Brahmalok and there he studied Vedanta. The 4 Vedas that Brahma has in his hands, Kartikeya was able to master all of that in a very short space of time. And so not only the 4 Vedas, but there he learned what we call Anga Vidya. Just as you will know astrology meaning the science of the sky, Anga Vidya means, Anga means limbs. The science of palmistry or reading of the hands, the lines on the face, and so on. Kartikeya is the one that brought that Vidya upon it. Okay? So he studied from Lord Brahma those sciences and he himself perfected that body of knowledge. So that is one of his contributions to humanity. Another one is, having completed his study, he also introduced now the Tamil language. Although Tamil was created by Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva had 2 students that he taught this language to originally. That was Agastya Rishi and Ravan. So Ravan would sit down with Lord Shiva just like Agastya Rishi, and Lord Shiva taught them the Tamil language. It is Kartikeya who learned the Tamil language from Lord Shiva, and there came a time when he had to leave Kailash and take up residence in the south of India. And so he spread that, he popularized that language in the south. That is why even up to today, in the deep south of India, it is known by the name of Tamil Nadu, in the land of the Tamils. Alright? He's the one that popularized that language in that region of the world. And today, most of the bhajans, most of the prayer, most of the mantras and so on, except the Vedic mantras, most of everything that we do to Kartikeya is in the Tamil language. That is why when we prepare the calendar, you will see the word Vaikasi, Visakam, you will not see Kartikeya Jayanti. That's because that is the proper way they address it by. That word Vaikasi, Visakam is a Tamil word. Just as how when we greet each other here, we will say Namaste or Sitaram. In Tamil they say Vanakam. That simply means greetings to you. Alright? So the Tamil language is more associated, you'll hear that a lot, even outside of India, like when you go to Singapore and Indonesia and these Far Eastern countries where Kartikeya is worshipped a lot, all of his offerings are done using Tamil language. Okay? The only time you get the Sanskrit is when the authentic Vedic mantras are being chanted, like if you have to do Kartikeya Srastanam or the Jap mantras, those will be in pure Sanskrit. Alright? But all the other prayers and stotras and so on, which devotees have composed over the millennia, they are in the Tamil language. So at the age of 78, he was able to destroy Kartikeya. And this is significant in Vedic astrology. Now, there are certain conditions when a child is born, if the child is born under a bad time, there are certain rites and rituals that has to be performed right away. Okay? The worst of them all is what most of you know, Mool Nakshatra. Is somebody born under Mool, somebody going to die if the rituals are not performed. Is either the mother dead, the father dead, or the child itself died. Right? This is how Tulsidas was born under Mool Nakshatra. The Mool Shanti was not performed when he was born. And as a result, his father abandoned him, his mother died, and the lady who adopted Tulsidas, because she formed a motherly relationship with him, what happened to she? She and all died. Okay? So that is why he was abandoned. He was driven out of the village. They say he's a blight. He's a blight not only to the family but to the village. It is Guru Nar Haridas which was passed and see him and saw what he was supposed to be. Took him to his ashram, initiated him. performed the Janev Sanskar for him and taught him. And there is where he became the Goswami. So that is the power of the Mool Nakshatra. Alright? Even up to today, we don't advise fathers that when their wives are going to have babies, don't go in the delivery room. That is not Sanatan Dharma, that is Western tradition. And now it is getting even more ridiculous. They carry video camera and phone and all sorts of things. So, if you're sticking to our Vedic tradition, why we advise the fathers not to go into the delivery room? Anybody? Why do you think we advise the fathers not to go into the delivery room? If the child happens to be born under the worst possible time, which is the moon, some kind of Shanti ritual has to take place immediately, you know that? Right? So if the mother unclean, the child unclean, the place unclean, who is the next logical person to do it? And the Parasa Guru Sasha said, must be a blood relative to Shanti that. It had to be the father. The father not unclean. He will be unclean when he comes in contact with his wife or the baby. Right? But he can take himself out of that. Right? He can go somewhere, take a shower, and go to a temple. Or go to the Guru's Ashram or something like that. And the Mool Shanti can be performed over there. Alright? When the Mool Shanti is done, the father has to look at the child's reflection in the mustard oil, and then it breaks the dosha. If those things are not done, the person grows up to be, first of all, if they live, they grow up to be real catchers. Right? And everything possible will happen, and they don't usually have a long lifespan. Right? It's either they are very disease-ridden, or something happened that caused them to die totally in life. Alright? So that is the power of the moon. Everybody is know about that one, because death is take place with that one. But there are others. For example, if a child born under certain conditions, certain type of abhishek has to be performed on the child, certain type of rites and rituals has to be performed within 3 months or within a year. A year mustn't pass. Alright? However, there is something in Vedic astrology called Bala Rishta. Bal means what? Bal means child, right? And there are certain planetary combinations we look for. If that exists in that child's horoscope, the child is not going to live beyond 7 to 8 years old. And the child can be perfectly healthy. And just something has happened suddenly around the time of that birthday, and the child will die. Sometimes the child can be sickly as the time approaches. Everybody is different. Okay, so all of these things, you see sometimes in Trinidad, when they go by the Pundit and say, baby born, give me a Rasi name, die all you get, die where you ask for. Give me 6 days, give me 12 days, die where you ask for, die where you get. Right? But you just sit down with the Pundit now and ask them to look at the horoscope in detail and see what else we have to perform as the child, within the first year of the child, and as the child gets older. Because we know to do those things is a lot of work, but then again, the kind of life some people want to live. From the time child born, rum started to share like water. And here realize what you do is you're bringing a sarap on that baby that has been born. Right? You fetting, but you're fetting in the wrong way. Because in Bhagavad, you're supposed to celebrate the birth of a child. When Krishna was born, the whole of Vrindavan, the whole of Gokul, they celebrated Krishna's birth. You're supposed to, they tell you that. But Krishna's birth was celebrated in accordance with the Vedic rites and rituals. If you tell some of them in Trinidad to celebrate like that, no, that's not we think. Until you don't kill a fowl, or you don't kill a duck, or you don't kill this, or you don't kill that, and you don't drink a few bottles of rum, that is no celebration for you. And that is how it is going in this country. And in the long run, who suffers? Your belly full with rum and you eat no way a day sometime. But that child gets the sarap for it because of the parents' stupidity. So Kartikeya remained hidden until he was that age. So when we see this Balarishta in the horoscope, one of the two things, first of all, we advise the parents, this child must be christened immediately. That's the only time you christen a child when they are newborn. Alright? Because the Guru Mantra has the ability to protect the child up to a certain extent. Alright? The other thing is, there are certain rites and rituals has to be performed, and certain type of pujas has to be done for the child until he reaches a certain age. Like some babies, some parents will know that they have to do a special type of Durga puja for a certain amount of years, for a certain type of Shiva puja for a certain amount of years, depending on the planet the child is born under. Alright? Another way we advise about sometimes a child born like that, we tell the parents that they have to sell the child. They can't, you know what we mean by that, right? So they took years out of the right? They call one of your relatives there and you give them a date and time and you take the child away literally. So in other words, you disconnect the child spiritually from your bloodline in order to give the child a chance to survive. So when these are some of the rites and rituals we do when children born at a bad time, and we see especially it is so bad that the child can die. Alright, so all of these are there. All of this came about as a result of how Kartikeya's birth came into existence. Alright? Remember, he was under danger even before he born. And so he born, Lord Shiva decided to keep him hidden. So he allowed the criticals to raise him for that period of time. And when that time has expired, then he brought him, he trained him, and then he sent him to fight. Having done that now, he get him initiated, alright? And then he sent him to study in Brahmalok, Satyalok. Having studied in Satyalok, one day, Lord Shiva and Parvati was on Mount Kailash, and Lord Shiva is telling him to demonstrate what he has learned. And so many topics on Vedanta were discussed. And among them, Lord Shiva said, tell me, did you learn about what is the meaning of Omkar? And did you understand it? And so, the others there who were listening to this conversation, they gave their opinion. Narad gave his opinion, Parvati gave her opinion, Brahma gave his opinion. Brahma, what he learned from Lord Brahma himself was listening to the conversation. Vishnu gave his opinion. And so Lord Shiva said, let me tell you what Omkar is. And so Lord Shiva spent days talking about the greatness of Om, this infinite Brahman. At the end of it all, Kartikeya, question and answer going on between both of them. And so Lord Kartikeya said, I am not yet satisfied with what Om is. After Lord Shiva had finished. And so then Shiva said, oh son, you tell me what Omkar is. And so that discussion is in the Upanishads, in the Chitragamma Upanishad, where Kartikeya is explaining to Lord Shiva what is the true meaning of Om. And so that discussion went on for a period of time. At the end of it all, Shiva himself bowed down to Kartikeya. So that is the picture I showed you all this morning. Alright? So there it is, Bhagavan Shiva was initiated into the greatness of Om by his son Kartikeya. Having been, so who is the Guru of Lord Shiva? Huh? Who is the Guru of Lord Shiva? I just told you, Kartikeya is the Guru of Lord Shiva. Alright? Now that is nothing strange, because when Lord Vishnu, in the beginning of Satyug, Lord Vishnu had taken a form called Kapil Muni. And the purpose of Kapil Muni was to establish what was Sankhya Yoga. And his first disciple in Sankhya Yoga was his own mother, Devahuti. He initiated her and taught her that yogic procedure. Guru-Shishya relationship is not one, I keep telling you all, the Guru-Shishya relationship is not one of the body, it is one of the Atma. The same Adi Shankaracharya, when he was 7, 8 years old, he had already made swamis out of many, many sannyasis. He had not even attained the age of 10. He was still in single digits years. And he had already initiated people much, much older than him and made swamis out of them. Alright, so the Guru of Lord Shiva. So if you look at the picture that I put up this morning, you'll see Shiva is bowing down to Kartikeya. Right? So Kartikeya is the Guru of Lord Shiva. That is why I asked you a question the other day. Just as how you know Hanuman Guru is Surya, who is what is the relationship with Kartikeya and the Guru? Well, this is the relationship. Because he explained Omkar in all of the details, Lord Shiva was more than satisfied, and so he accepted Kartikeya as a Guru also. And so Kartikeya became, so having attained, accepted, Shiva became the Guru of Kartikeya. The Devata said, today you will be known as Guru Baram. Right? And Parvati now, listening to this, but she with all the pride and joy in her heart, see the son had attained this status, says today I give you 2 more names. You will be known as Guru Natham and Swami Natham. And these are popular names in most Kartikeya bhajans. Alright? Guru Natham means you are the Guru of the Lord, of the Supreme Lord. Alright? Swami Natham meaning you are the Guru of my Lord. Parvati worships Shiva, and so she will address Shiva as Swami. Nath means Lord of. So having gotten these names now, Shiva places his son on his shoulder to show you the honor he has for him. He knows that is the Guru, so the Guru is not supposed to be lower than the Chela. So he puts him on his own shoulder and he dances and parades him all over Kailash. Alright? So that is how Kartikeya became the Guru of Bhagwan Shiva. So when Shiva wanted to, and he did that with joy, seeing that his son had attained that status. If you look at Lord Shiva, Shiva is teaching you how to be a successful householder. Look at his 2 children. Look at the status they occupy. Ganesh is first in everything. He's the embodiment of intelligence. Alright? And Kartikeya, he's the commander of the army of the Devatas. Right? He's the defender and the protector of the less fortunate. Now, if you had children occupying that position, how you will feel as a parent? And you feel proud and happy that your children has attained. Think about when your son and daughter get a job, no matter what job it is, but because they get a job on their own, and again a salary, and then you just feel good about your son or your daughter. Think about Shiva and Parvati. Your son has just attained a normal job. He's the boss then. He's the head of the army, and he's the defender of the weak. He's the protector of Dharma. And the other one, he's a scholar, he's intelligent, and he's always first among everything. So that is how Kartikeya gets his status. But like all children, from time to time, 2 boys going to fight. Right? And so to prevent bacchanal in the family, sometimes you have to separate yourself. So Lord Shiva gave him an assignment. He said, go to the south and destroy the demons there and establish Dharma. And so where did he go? He went to the South India and he established the Jyotirlinga there. Malika Arjun Jyotirlinga. And so having performed, he spread Shiv devotion in that area and taught, destroyed the demons that was harassing the rishis and so on in that area. and he brought civility. South India was not developed like how North India was at that time. So he brought civility. He brought development to that region of India. And so that is why even up to today he's honored and he's worshipped throughout South India more than North India. Principal Kumar Kartikeya Jai. So this is a brief summary of how Kartikeya came into existence, why it was necessary for him to destroy the demons at that age, and why at that particular age, what does it mean for us in everyday life. Okay? And then having destroyed that, he started his formal education. Having graduated from his formal education, demonstrated, in other words, just as you would go to school and learn, you don't stop learning after you leave school. You try to continue to improve yourself. Because when Kartikeya explained to Lord Shiva what Omkar is, he was not a student of Lord Brahma. He had already graduated. Alright, but he took his knowledge and he applied it. How many of you just take your knowledge and just apply it in your daily work, in your daily life? Some of you just go to school, get a degree, and when you come out, you're just as stupid as though you went in. Huh? This time you have a degree saying you're really stupid. Right? Now what is that spear that he holds in his hands? The veil as we call it. What is the symbol? Why he holds that veil? Why that particular weapon? You can use like a bow and arrow where you can make the missiles fly far off distance. Why does he use, now in the Western world they symbolize that as a javelin. Right? Actually that javelin throwing technique came from him. Alright? Why the veil? What does it represent from a Vedantic point of view? Kartikeya is a yogi. Alright? And there he is telling you, in order to discover the inner truths, not only of the universe but of yourself, you must have penetrating insight. The veil with its tip has the ability to penetrate darkness and to pierce through anything that veils the Atma. So that is why he holds the veil in his hand. Like when you see the Trishul in the hands of Lord Shiva, you know he has the three gunas under his control. The veil in the hands of Kartikeya represents penetrating spiritual insight. The weapons in the hands of the different deities, like the sword, Durga Mata's most famous weapon is the sword, right? What is the symbolism of the sword? The sword represents detachment. Just as a sword decapitates something, it represents detachment. So to the Trishul represents the controlling of the three gunas. Well, in this case, the veil in the hands of Kartikeya represents penetrating spiritual insight. Not only penetrating spiritual insight, but show higher order thinking. In other words, that is why when he came out of the Gurukul from Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva was testing him, he went beyond what he learned. In other words, he applied his knowledge. In order for progress to take place, you have to take what you learn and make something better out of it. Alright, so that is why sometimes in the sciences you will have things like applied physics, applied maths, right? Applied biotechnology, meaning you're taking the basic concepts of these subject matters and you're applying it now with the use of technology in different ways. Alright? So that is what the veil represents. It represents higher order thinking in order to penetrate the barriers of the conscious mind. That is the Vedantic meaning. Alright? Of why he holds that particular weapon in his hands. And that weapon was created by no other than his mother, who is the universal mother. So it shows that effort and the energy that that veil has, it cannot fail. Now, Kartikeya, from astrology point of view, like I told you all the other day, he presides over the sign Aries, the planet Mars. He governs the zodiac sign of Aries. Now Mars governs two signs of the zodiac. Right? When Mars is in Aries, Kartikeya becomes your Ishdevta. Alright? When another sign of the zodiac that Mars governs is Scorpio. And this Scorpio sign now, Hanuman becomes the Ishdevta. Alright? Hanuman also presides over the planet Mars. But when the moon and Mars is in the sign of Aries, there is where the energy of Kartikeya gets amplified. Unlike Scorpio, unlike Hanuman, I should say, Kartikeya is a bit rough. Alright? That's why he and Ganesh have fallen out. You know, they have two children home. One lazy, Gokadam, and the other one active, and especially if you have two boy children, you know, some of you know what I'm talking about, right? So, Ganesh is a kind of laid-back fella. Kartikeya just accuse him of being lazy, eating too much, right? But amongst the two of them, he's the intelligent one. Okay? Kartikeya is a radical fella. Kartikeya is very fit. He's the embodiment of masculine energy. As the planet Mars is. Mars is the most masculine planet, masculine energy. In terms of bravery, there is nobody more brave than Kartikeya. Mars is also the planet of bravery. If Mars is in a very good position on this earth, you don't have nothing on this earth you'll be afraid of. Right? You have nobody you'll be afraid of, you have no situation you'll be afraid of. Right? Life, no matter what life throws at you, that bravery within you, that energy within you will always pull you out of it. Alright? When you kind of pick street, then the world will take advantage of you. Alright? And in this age and time, unless you don't have some kind of bravery and boldness within you, Kobo better than you. Right? Whether you're boy or girl, and some of you will have girl children and grandchildren and think there's girls and then you got sugar and spice and all that is bullshit. Right? It's teaching you that kind of thing. The British teach all of that kind of thing. There's some of them, not only them girl and softy. Even some of them fellas will be like girl now. You're living in a world, if you don't stand up for yourself, like I tell you, dog better than you. Whether you're boy or girl. And more so for a girl. Right? Because everybody wants to take advantage of she, and unless she is sleeping with somebody, she can't reach nowhere in life. That is reality. If you want to grow up decent, and you want to grow up achieving because of your potential and your efforts, you have to have the Kartikeya energy in you. You have to have that boldness within you, and you have to have that bravery within you. And there are ways to channel that energy. So people who have Aries as their horoscope, they tend to be a little bit brave, a little bit bold, but the downside of Kartikeya is that boldness sometimes is getting head. So you're a bit radical. Sometimes it's acting out thinking, which is what most Aries people does do. They open them out when they're not supposed to. Right? And sometimes there's block, they're diabolic, there's block, get vexed quick. When the situation you call for all of that. And sometimes they create a problem in their home. So if your sun sign, that is where the sun is at the time of birth, sun is energy and heat. Right? If it's in the sign of Aries, in the Western horoscope, where I will put you in, somewhere in March month to April month. Right, half of March to half of April, then your sun sign from Western horoscope will be the Aries sign. Alright? Kartikeya will have an energy influence over you, but Aries tends to be the diabolic sign, it tends to be the radical sign, it tends to be the one that acts impulsively, just as Kartikeya has a degree of impulse within him. Alright? Remember, he's a military commander, think about it. Which general you know is well behaved and does have a degree of impulse? They always have a trigger happy finger. Always willing to tell down somebody with some bomb somewhere. Right? Kartikeya is like that. Sometimes he will be quick to attack. Scorpio on the other hand, they are tacticians. That's like Hanuman. Hanuman is Hanuman well, you all know Hanuman is well behaved, he's well trained, he is a warrior, but he doesn't act impulsively. He acts after analyzing the situation. That is why Shri Ram used to seek his counsel. So you find, that is why there's telling, if a Scorpio hold in mind, watch out, you're dead. Right? Because they can analyze different ways they can get to you. Because they are tacticians by nature. Alright, so in Western horoscope, when I will put you somewhere around second half of October 31st, half of November. Am I correct? Right. So if you are a second, oh by the way, October Scorpio is pitch peaks, because the liberal element over there is October month. Right? November Scorpio, they are purebred Scorpios. Alright? That is just from my experience in dealing with people. But because the same planet Mars, they are tacticians. They would plan, they would analyze. Alright? That is why I tell the Scorpio, if you go on the wrong side of a Scorpio, Scorpio could be the most dangerous horoscope. They will plan how to deal with you in the most proper way. Right? At the same time, they are the most loyal. They just stand up for you, they have nobody going to defend you. Could defeat you. At the same time, whatever they commit to it wholeheartedly. Okay? Now all of them have both their drawbacks as well, but this is also trying to draw the parallel between Hanuman, presiding over Scorpio, and Kartikeya presiding over Aries. Aries is a fire sign, Scorpio is a water sign. So you see why I tell you Aries is a more diabolic horoscope, it is a more explosive horoscope. That is why Aries people tend to explode easy. Alright? And it's only after a situation comes up then you realize it's important for all of that, but it doesn't do the damage already. Right? On the other hand, Scorpios, they are the quiet ones. If a Scorpio holding a secret, you can't get out of the east, right? They tell you in Vedic scriptures, if somebody with Scorpio ascendant holds a secret, not even Lord Brahma could dig that out like it. Alright? So you think you understand the difference between Hanuman now and Kartikeya, right? Even though they preside over the same planet. So this is Mars with the positive energy and Mars with the little bit of the negative energy. Okay? But when the planet is negative, that is why we give you certain sadhanas to do. Right? So in case the Mars energy in you is not positive or it is weak, we give you the Kartikeya to boost them out. Alright? To make you a little bit bold, a little bit brave. Right? And then depending on the structure of your horoscope, we may even advise you at certain times to worship Lord Hanuman to bring that control, that not just to become bold and brave, but to be disciplined. Okay? Questions, anybody? Right, so that is where, because of his position as a military commander, he deals with protection. And sometimes one lesson Kartikeya teaches you, sometimes in order to protect, it is necessary to destroy. Alright? That making sense? In order to protect, sometimes it is necessary to destroy. That is how Kartikeya operates. When you go to a doctor to get surgery, what do you think you're doing? To save your life, sometimes you have to destroy one of your limbs. Take about, okay, nowadays cancer is a popular thing, right? So let me use an example with somebody who has, let me say, breast cancer. To save your life, what the doctor will do? Cut it off, right? You think it's a harsh procedure, but if he doesn't do that, what will happen a few months down the road? You will die, you will lose your life. Okay? Same thing with diabetes, right? In order to save your life, sometimes the doctor will amputate your foot. Or your hand, will depends on whatever is affected. Okay? So Kartikeya, one of the lessons he teaches, sometimes it's necessary to destroy in order to protect. Okay? So that is why he has these two consorts. One, Devasena, as the her name implies, meaning the power of the divine weapons. Dev means the Devasena means army. So she represents the power of all the weapons that Kartikeya has. Okay? And then you have Shashti Devi, who I told you is the Devi that stays with all little babies until it's a year old. Okay? That is the Devi that we worship during the 6 days and the 12-day ceremony. Okay? So these are the two consorts of Kartikeya. So Kartikeya has everything to do with protection, bravery. Alright? So the kind of times we are living in, to protect you from, especially when it comes to things like terrorism, serious crimes like terrorism, human trafficking, kidnapping. Kartikeya also protects women in particular against things like rape, child abuse and so on. Okay? So this is why nowadays this worship is very important. Because we live in a country where the politicians don't really care about you. The police service is engaged in the tea parties. Alright? They don't really care about what is happening. And everything is so political. You go to any of the government ministry, get normal, legitimate work done, and it is all about politics. Okay? So when things reach that level, you turn to God and pray. Alright? So today, just as we celebrated Nursing Jayanti, I told you that is the ultimate form of God's protection. Alright? So too Kartikeya is another form that God has taken for your safety. While they will work in different ways, the end results are the same. Alright? So especially those of you who have girl children, or you yourself, females. Alright? Especially if you know you're working in dangerous situations or coming home late until midnight, doing your Kartikeya devotion will help you a lot. Okay? And those of you who are a little bit kunumunu, start worshiping Lord Kartikeya and you'll see how brave and bold you'll get. Of course, with everything there is some control. That doesn't mean to say you want to beat up everybody and pick on this one and become the bully now. Right? Remember Tarkasur was the bully, and what happened to him? He get his death. Alright? So at this point in time, those of you who come prepared to do your personal offerings, you can do so. Afterwards, then we have our concluding Hawan. Alright? So those of you who come prepared to do Hawan, will sit down and do our Kartikeya Hawan, and then we close off the prayers in the day. Alright? Principal Shri Kumar Kartikeya ki Jai. So those of you who have your offerings to do, come up and we'll do those offerings now. So while that is happening, we just have vajans accordingly.